All right, good afternoon and welcome to the Utopian Baseball Universe question and answer off-season edition. Today is Saturday, January 22nd. I do apologize. I wanted to go live at noon today and do 2 hours, but so last night when I plugged my phone into charge, I did that successfully, but I didn't realize that the actual plug wasn't in the outlet. So the plug was in the phone, but not in the outlet. I woke up with like 30% battery. And I actually, these shows, when I go live for 2 hours, it's probably going to drain most of the battery. So I'm at 100% right now, so we should be good. But thank you for being here. I do have a number of questions queued that we'll get to very shortly. Right now, what I'm doing is a little prep for when the Utopian Baseball Universe spring training starts on February 28th. So I'm just updating a spreadsheet real quick here. I've got like 4 cells to update, and then we'll get started. But again, thank you for being here. We're going to answer all your questions today. If you've already asked the question, I have it queued. I've got some FAQs I'm going to share. If you're watching this now and have a question or comment, we're going to try to get to all of them. And we're going to go till at least 2 o'clock. We might go a little longer depending on how many questions we get. And then Daddy's got to go to Sendix and get his wings. Pizza's ready. Got to get the wings for a full day of NFL football. This is my favorite football weekend of the year, this divisional round. So we're going to get started here very shortly. Again, thanks for being here. My computer is performing a lot better since I cleaned it up about 2 months ago. So I'm not having a lot of the buffering issues that I used to have. I still at some point want to replace it. The computer is now 12 years old. So I'd like to replace it at some point. I think I have everything that I need here. But again, thanks for being here. And we're going to get to your questions here very shortly, probably in the next minute or so. Enjoying a Jelly Belly Very Cherry sparkling water. This is day 53 without soda. All right. Again, we'll be starting here in about 30 seconds or so. I'm just making sure I got everything lined up here. I can already see we've got a question from the live, so that's great. We'll probably just get to that first, and then I'll get to what I have queued. All right, so again, this is the Utopian Baseball Universe question and answer. We did this last year. It was very interactive. I tried it again in the during the season. It wasn't, and I think I chose just the wrong date and time. But first question we have is, what is the best baseball book I've read in the last year? And it was actually a gift from my friend David Rubin. It's called The Baseball 100 by Joe Posnanski. I actually have it on my shelf back here. I finished it about a month ago. It took me about a week to 10 days to read. It's long. It's 800 pages. But what Joe does is he chooses his list of the 100 greatest players ever. It's all essays he's written since the pandemic started. Really fantastic. Working on getting Joe on having a catch sometime in February. So I'm excited for that. Great question. And I'll take questions about anything. Baseball, Utopian Baseball Universe, this haircut, why I wear a Mets hoodie. I'll be answering everything today. But great question. And let's get to some of our earlier questions. Laura Stone, by the way, is going to be a guest on Having a Catch on February 1st. She asked last week, she said, this is the most creative concept I've seen, and it's very impressive. What made you think of this idea? So last year, on February 1st, we had 83 members, and within a couple of weeks, word of mouth got out. A couple of you guys actually invited a bunch of people, and we grew from 83 members to 400 in like 2 or 3 weeks. So I wanted to do like an FAQ type of thing, a question and answer, so that people understood exactly what the Utopian Baseball Universe is and why I do it. And we're gonna answer all those questions today. But this is something I want to do probably twice a year, just because we do get new members that join daily. We actually welcomed 10 new members that have joined in the last couple days earlier this morning. So thanks for the question, Laura, and I look forward to having a catch with you on February 1st. Dale writes, should I declare what teams I'm pulling for? That's a great question. I think sometimes there's confusion that this is fantasy baseball. It's not a competitive league per se that you play. However, members of the universe are interacting with it on a daily basis. Dale, to answer your question, of course, yeah. If you want to declare what teams, I think you actually did earlier today. I'm a Mets fan, so I pull for the Mets. I grew up in Milwaukee. I pull for the Brewers. But if you want to declare what team you're rooting for, maybe I'll throw up a poll later today. I think that'd be a fun way to see what kind of fan bases we have within the universe. So great question from Dale. All right, so let's get to actually some of the frequently asked questions that I get almost on a daily basis, whether it's through the group or Twitter, TikTok, email, in person. The most common question I get is, how does the Utopian Baseball Universe work? So again, it's not fantasy baseball. It's storytelling, basically. What we do is we have 32 teams. Major League Baseball has 30. We have 32. We brought back the Montreal Expos. We made the Durham Bulls a team in the universe. I have 4 divisions of 8, North, South, East, and West. And how it works is that every day, a member of the universe, so could be you, you're going to give me a date or two from history, and I'm going to pull the games from that date, and then I'll see them on my screen. I use baseballreference.com, and then I hit shuffle. I use a random number shuffler. I assign a number to each game, and then I assign a number to each game in my universe. And then when I hit shuffle, for example, if the 5th game I see is the first number pulled, that gets pulled into my schedule on my first game, and so on. And then what I do is I report those results as if they're actually happening. So it's kind of like storytelling. And then occasionally we'll actually simulate a game using Xbox, so you guys can actually watch the game and kind of follow it that way. I've been doing that same process for about 2 years for the first 2 seasons. So I'm actually finding out who wins and loses and all the stats the same day that you are. I'm not writing per se the results. I'm not deciding anything at all. I set the lineups every day. You guys help with that. I set the starting rotations at the beginning of the year. And then I basically just report the results daily. This year we'll be doing more of like a written, because I prefer writing to being on camera. So we're going to do kind of written synopsis every day. And then maybe once or twice a week I'll go live and just kind of report on what's going on. But it's, again, fiction. A lot of it's just kind of determined by fate. As it turns out, the Braves have won both seasons by beating the Reds in the championship. That cannot actually happen this year because they're going to be the South and the North are going to be facing each other on one side of the semifinal bracket, and then the West is going to face the East. So if the Reds and Braves do play each other again in the postseason, it's going to be in the semifinals and not the championship. So again, I get that question a lot. How does this all work? And you guys will see starting February 28th when we do our spring training games, which is something I do just to kind of get ready for the season. You'll see what I'm talking about. Another question I get a lot is, how are rosters built? So for season 1, they were 30-man rosters. Actually, I think they were 33. I don't know how I got to 33, but I had a 33-man roster. I think what I did was a 25-man daily roster and like an 8-person taxi squad. And then I just thought, well, 30 is a better number. I like even numbers, so we cut it down to 30. But this year we're doing 40. So every day during the season, each team is going to have 25 players that are eligible to play that day. And then throughout the season, teams can make moves based on performance. And you guys will have a say in that too. You guys are going to be able to vote on who makes the rosters, who makes the 25-man, who's going to be in the starting lineup on opening day, who's going to be in the starting rotation. But as far as how we built the initial rosters and how we continue to grow it, I was a big baseball card collector as a kid. So I took a lot of my favorite players from those cards, a lot of Hall of Famers, a lot of today's superstars, and I tried to build the most compelling roster, not necessarily the best players. There are great players that aren't in the universe because I have to make room for characters. My favorite player growing up was Gorman Thomas. Gorman Thomas is not the greatest outfielder in the history of the Brewers, but he's my favorite. So Gorman Thomas is on the Brewers. Rob Deere is on the Brewers. These are my favorite players. They have to be represented. I'm a Mets fan, so Howard Johnson is going to be there. Lenny Dykstra, Keith Hernandez, along with a mix of today's players. In 2021, we added every Negro League Hall of Famer. So every team is represented by a Negro League Hall of Famer. And in 2022, we've added a good number of 19th century players. And then every team's going to be represented with a 19th century player. And then every year we're going to keep adding players and making additions. But right now it's a 40-man roster. Every team has some holes that I need help from you to fill. For example, right now I'm looking at the NL East. If you're a fan of the Red Sox, I need another outfielder and a starting pitcher. If you're a fan of the Blue Jays, I need a first baseman and a couple outfielders. If you're a fan of the Orioles, I need another second baseman. Reach out to me if you're a fan of any team and let me know who you want to see in, and I'll try to make it work. If there's a player you like on a team and I have him on another team, he's going to stay on that team, unfortunately. But there's room enough to try to accommodate everyone as far as getting your favorite players in. So that's how we build rosters. And then throughout the season, you'll see changes based on team need and, I guess, performance. How can I become aware of daily results? So last year, we actually had a show called the Utopian Baseball Universe Report, which I did daily. And then on the weekends, we called it the Utopian Baseball Universe After Dark. It's going to look a little different this year. We're not going to do daily shows for results. Instead, what we're going to do is on Mondays and Fridays, we're going to do morning shows previewing the series that are coming up. So for Monday's show, we're going to preview all the Monday through Thursday series. And then on Friday morning, we're going to preview the weekend. And then once a week, we're going to wrap up the week. We're going to probably going to do Sunday night. I don't even have a name for it yet, but we're gonna look at the week that was, some of the highlights of the week. Talk about some of the things that happened, but I'm not going to do a daily show anymore. Instead, because again, and I mentioned this earlier in the show today, I am a writer at heart. I prefer communicating through the written word, and I think what I have planned for you this year is going to be more aesthetically pleasing than seeing me on camera for 10 minutes a day. So we're going to do, it's going to be like a daily, and I posted these last year, daily scoreboard, but it's going to be more headlines and storytelling than just scores and, who homered. So you guys will see that in the next couple months. Opening day is actually in 62 days. I think you guys are going to be happy with what we're doing. I think more people prefer to see something and read it at their own pace than to just watch me report it for 10 minutes a night. So that's what we're going to do going forward. Next question I have is, I've seen some custom baseball cards pop up of members. How can I get one? So both in 2020 and in 2021, we made custom baseball card sets. which included in 2020, we did most of the players in the universe. And then a lot of our members. I think we had 60 members for the first season, so I think 30 or 40 maybe had cards made. I also did cards of every stadium, every announcer, every manager, a lot of my old baseball memories. That first set, there was a lot of kind of miscellaneous stuff: foods I loved, authors I loved, movies, memories from childhood. 2021 was a little different. I did every single player in the universe, and then we had more member cards because we had a bigger membership base. And then in 2022, we're not going to do every player because the rosters are now 40 instead of 30. But we're going to do all the the names you think of: Willie Mays, Joe DiMaggio. They're always going to have cards. I'm not going to do. Again, I'm looking at the NL East rosters right now. I'm probably not going to do any middle relievers. Maybe some new ones, but for some of these players, you just run out of images that you can find on Google, like really solid images that I can use on a card. A lot of the older pictures are really grainy, have watermarks on them. So I have enough. You're always going to see again the Babe Ruths and the Mantles and the DiMaggios, but it's always going to be a 1,200 card set. If you want your own card, simply send me a picture. And I actually posted something earlier, earlier this month, since the theme for 2022 is the 19th century players. You have there's a little chart. You can create your own 19th century baseball name. And you have options. So like if your name starts with an A through D, you have 4 options that you can choose for your first name, your middle name, and your last name. So send those to me. I've already made about a dozen of them for 2022, the member cards. And I make cards almost on a daily basis. So if you want a card and want to be included in the 2022 set, let me know. And I will make those for you. Usually you'll get those within 24 hours. Question comes in here. I like the Xbox streams. When will those air in 2022? All right, great question. So every day has themes in 2022. We're going to try to be more consistent with when you see stuff and what you see on a daily basis. So, for example, Monday afternoons, starting March 28th, we're going to do an Xbox stream every Monday at about 3 o'clock. We're going to kick off the season this year with the Orioles at Giants. And we've got some great matchups to give you on Mondays in 2022. We've got our 2 RBI leaders from 2020 and 2021 facing each other on April 25th as the Tigers visit Wrigley Field. Hank Greenberg led the universe in RBIs in 2020 with 114, and Sammy Sosa led last year with 116. We're also going to get Ichiro versus Pete Rose as the Mariners travel to Cincinnati on June 27th. And on August 29th, we're going to end the season, end our Monday afternoon Xbox season with Cardinals at Twins. We're not going to do Xbox games on Tuesdays and Thursdays until later in the season. It gives me a little bit of a break because if you do it daily, it becomes tedious. And I want to give you guys a different experience every day. So no Xbox on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, but to award your patience and patronage, we're going to give you a double header on Thursdays. How about that? We're going to do a Thursday afternoon, probably 3 o'clock, and then Thursday night baseball is going to be at 6 o'clock. So we're going to kick off that season on March 31st with a double header with the Brewers at the Rangers and the Mets at the Dodgers. We're going to finish the season on September 22nd with Blue Jays at Orioles, White Sox at Reds. We've got some great games lined up for Thursday, our Thursday doubleheader. Our civil rights game is going to be the Pirates and White Sox on April 28th. Brewers at Mets on May 19th, my 2 favorite teams. Ted Williams returning to San Diego on August 25th. We're going to see the A's and Pirates, Reggie Jackson versus Willie Stargell on April 21st. That'll be the late game that day. The Expos at Nationals on June 2nd. And then the Nationals at Angels, August 25th. Bryce Harper, our reigning MVP, versus Mike Trout. So, again, Thursdays will be a doubleheader of Xbox throughout the season. On Friday nights, we're going to do something called Late Night with the Utopian Baseball Universe. This is going to be 11:30 Central every Friday, and we're going to try to get Geeker Cruisin' involved. Geeker owns a business in Illinois called Geeker's Emporium, a gaming business, so we're going to try to get Geeker involved. These are going to be late night games. Again, 11:30 Central, starting April 1st with the Giants at Red Sox. We're going to finish that slate on September 23rd with the Braves at Rays. We've got the Red Sox at Yankees on June 3rd. We've got the Giants at Cubs on July 1st. Mariners at Angels on September 2nd. Highlighting Late Night with the Utopian Baseball Universe every Friday starting April 1st. And then we're going to have no Xbox on Saturdays, but we're going to return with Sunday morning baseball, 9 a.m. Central every Sunday morning. Watch all your favorite players and teams compete in Utopian Baseball Universe action. We're going to kick off on March 27th with Red Sox at Rockies. We're going to finish the season on September 18th with Tigers at Pirates, Roberto Clemente Day. We've also got Padres at Yankees on April 3rd. And Mets at Giants, August 21st. Pete Alonso versus Willie McCovey every Sunday morning at 9 a.m. Have breakfast with the Utopian Baseball Universe. Also, to kind of celebrate baseball television of the past, we're gonna do Monday Night Baseball. We've been doing this now for 3 years. That's going to kick off on March 28th. Reds at Rays. Al Michaels and Tim McCarver on the call. Now, you won't see these games, but we'll do, again, write-ups. That'll be part of our nightly write-up is Monday Night Baseball. We're actually going to do something really cool on August 29th. We're going to have a doubleheader of ABC Monday Night Baseball. We're going to have the Angels at Red Sox, Howard Cosell and Bob Uecker on the call, followed by Giants, Blue Jays with Al Michaels and Tim McCarver. Tuesdays and Wednesdays belong to ESPN. We're going to have Tuesday Night Baseball with John Sciambi and Eduardo Perez. Wednesday nights are going to feature Chris Berman and Dave Soup Campbell. ESPN Friday Night Baseball is going to feature Matt Vasgersian and Jessica Mendoza. And, of course, Sunday Night Baseball with John Miller and Joe Morgan. Saturdays, you're going to have a triple header of national coverage with a double header on NBC. Bob Costas and Tony Kubek are going to call the games at noon. And Vince Scully and Joe Garagiola are going to get the 3 o'clock games. And then Saturday night main event, TBS, Brian Anderson and Ron Darling. So every day you're going to have some national coverage, whether it be on ESPN, ABC, NBC, TBS, or the Utopian Baseball Universe Network for the Xbox streams. Here we go. New comment here. You might be the only baseball we get to enjoy this year. That's very true. And actually in 2020, when we started our first season was right when the pandemic started. So we were the only game in town for about 4 months. I forget when the season started that year, late July, when there was no baseball. And right now baseball is in a lockout. So I'm fully aware of that, of course. As a diehard baseball fan, I don't want that to happen. But if it does, I'm going to make sure that you guys are fully entertained. Regardless, I mean, if there is a season, if there's not a season, we're going to make this a priority and keep you guys entertained throughout the 2022 season. I can tell you right now, opening day is 62 days away. It's Friday, March 25th. The last 2 years on opening day, I barely slept a wink the night before, and this year's going to be no exception. It's going to be, it's probably my favorite calendar day of the year now. I think it's, for me, it's a holiday. It's always going to be on a Friday. We're going to do 2 Xbox games on opening day. We have an ESPN quadruple header. I'm going to be going live that morning. We're going to try to get maybe Dan Byrne again to sing for us. I really can't wait. I love presenting it, and I love that you guys are passionate for it. All right, next question we have here is in regards to the talk show. I love having a catch. How can I be a guest? So season 1 is pretty much booked. I haven't heard back from one guest. He committed to it, and then I haven't heard back from him, so I might have to rebook that. But if you want to be a guest, simply there's a poll question actually up within the group. Click yes, and I'll get a hold of you. If you click yes, and we can figure out the technical side of it, you will be on the show. That is not a question at all. The only guests that we haven't been able to accommodate are if they don't want to be on camera because it's not a call-in show, or we can't figure out the technical side of it where I can't hear you or you can't hear me, or the video quality is so poor. We're going to find different ways to highlight you during the season. But if you want to be in the show, just let me know. You can say that here. You can email me at utopianbaseballuniverse@gmail.com. You can call or text me at 262-665-2612, and we're going to get you on the show. I've done 7 episodes. Dan Byrne on December 7th. What a thrill that was. Gar Ness, batting stance guy on the 14th. That was so much fun. Ethan Bryan, Andrew Pfeffer, Jenny Russack, David Rubin, Bill Johnson was so much fun. We almost went 2 hours with Bill. And then this Tuesday is going to be a big thrill. One of my favorite writers, Peter Golenbach, is going to be on. We have a lot to talk about. Laura Stone is booked. Joey Witkowski is going to be on the show. It's a lot of fun. 13 episodes. Season 1 commences on March 1st, and then season 2 is going to kick off on May 31st. I've already booked some guests for season 2, but if you want to be on, let me know. It's a lot of fun. I really do enjoy doing them. Cubs are going to have a bounce back year and win the Utopian. Boy, wouldn't that be something. Now, the Cubs have struggled in the first 2 years. I think we have 12 teams. Let me actually pull this up real quick. In the first 2 seasons of the Utopian, we've had 12 teams not make the playoffs. They are Baltimore, Philadelphia, Montreal. Those are the 3 teams in the East that have not made the playoffs. In the North, it's the Twins, Cubs, and Brewers. In the West, it's Oakland, Colorado, and Seattle. And in the South, it's St. Louis, Texas, and Miami. So those 12 teams haven't won it. But again, on paper, and I want to stress this, and I've mentioned this before, the Cubs, just like any other team in the Utopian, have the exact same chance to win it as anyone else because of how we simulate. It's all kind of random. When we shuffle the games and we assign them to the schedule, I'm actually finding that out right before you are. And we've had teams come out of the gate, win 5 straight, and then not make the playoffs. We've had teams start, I think, 3-10 and win their division. So anything can happen. The Cubs, let's actually look up the Cubs right now. So if you're saying that, I'm guessing you're a Cubs fan. So maybe you can help me out here. Cubs roster as of right now. At catcher, we've got Jody Davis, Giovanni Soto, and Gabby Hartnett. At first base, we got Anthony Rizzo, Frank Chance, and we're adding Leon Durham in 2022. Second base, I got Ryan Sandberg and Johnny Evers. Third base, I got Chris Bryant and Ron Santo. Shortstop, I got Ernie Banks, Javi Baez, and Shawan Dunston. Outfield, we've got Billy Williams, Hack Wilson, Sammy Sosa, Alfonso Soriano, Jason Hayward, Cumberland Posey, Bob Dernier, and Mike King Kelly. Starting pitchers, Fergie Jenkins, Carlos Zambrano, Mike Pryor, Kerry Wood, Kyle Hendricks, Rick Sutcliffe, Jake Arrieta, and Three Finger Brown. And then in the bullpen, we got Lee Smith, Ryan Dempster, Carlos Marmol, Hector Rondon, Kevin Gregg, Jeremy Jeffress, and Pedro Strop. If you're a Cubs fan watching this right now, I need a second baseman, I need a third baseman, I need another outfielder, and I need a starting pitcher. You guys have say in this. Again, if they're not on another roster, I'll accommodate. So yes, Cubs. Hopefully, for Cubs fans, we'll have a bounce back year. But again, there's 12 teams that haven't made the playoffs, and really anything can happen in the Utopian Baseball Universe. Thanks for watching, by the way. A couple more. I have two more questions that came before, and then I'll answer anything else live, and we're going to go probably another half hour or so. Can I promote my own group, podcast, book, etc. within the Utopian Baseball Universe? Absolutely. This is a baseball group. Like what we do as far as like the Utopian Baseball Universe piece of it is really, I do it for me regardless, and I love that you enjoy it. But I want this to be a go-to baseball group where people can talk about what they're doing. You don't even have to ask permission. If you want, there's a guy in this group, and I apologize, I can't, now I look stupid, but there's a guy, I think his name is Jason. He posts his podcast every week. And as soon as I get the alert, I put it on. Sal Tartaglia wrote a book called World Series Chronology. He posts daily on that. I want to keep doing that, Sal. Jack Dudar has a podcast. Jack Fernino and Michael Rovner have a podcast about Billy Joel. It doesn't even have to be baseball related. If you're a baseball fan, you're in the group. But if you have a podcast, we want to hear about it. If you're in a baseball group, if you're in a baseball group on Facebook, I want to join it. NL East Baseball Uncensored is one of my favorite groups. Laura Stone's going to be on Having a Catch on February 1st. Those guys have permission to take over the network at any point. Sal Tartaglia, Mark Mancini, and Marianne Costello host a radio show in Philadelphia on Thursdays. I'm going to be on that show Thursday the 27th in Philadelphia. Those guys have permission to take over the universe at any point. Geeker Cruisin owns his own business in Chicago. Post on it daily if you wish. If you've written a book, Peter Golenbach's here. We're going to have him talk about his new books on Tuesday. Greg Prince is an author within this group. Brian Wright. Again, I want to hear about it. I want to celebrate it. So you don't have to ask permission. All you have to do is post your link, and then I approve it. The reason it doesn't post right away is that we do have members that come in that post spam, and then I get rid of them. And we all know what the difference between promoting your own stuff and then trying to harm the group. So, but I usually get it, and it's usually posted within an hour. So yes, absolutely. Promote your own group, podcast, book, anything you're doing baseball related. We want to hear about it. If you see a game in 2022, post pictures. If you have great memories, share those. This is an inclusive community that we're trying to build, and I want to hear about everything you're doing. So absolutely. Got a couple more comments here. So again, this is an example. This is clearly spam on YouTube. Someone's watching it on YouTube. There's probably a link. I'm going to take it down, so we're not going to give them any more pub, if you will. I really enjoy the interactive live feeds of picking dates for games. Yeah, so last year we did that, maybe once a week, maybe 3 times a month. But this year, every single day, and I might not go live to do it, but 6 a.m, I might say, all right, give me a date. Give me your parents' anniversary, your child's birthday, something. And then I usually have 16 games I need to simulate. So if there's less than 16 games, and for most days there are going to be, we're going to use 2 dates. So yeah, you guys are going to be a big part of this going forward. Cubs third. All right, here we go. Cubs third baseman, Mr. Clutch, Aramis Ramirez. Outfield, not an all-time great, but give his all, Reed Johnson. Aramis Ramirez, by the way, I love, former Brewer. He's actually, I have him on the Pittsburgh roster. I have him playing third base with Bill Madlock and Pie Traynor. But thank you for the recommendation. Reed Johnson, let's just make that official right now. Reed Johnson is a member of the Cubs. All right, so there it is. Reed Johnson is joining the Utopian Baseball Universe in 2022 as a member of the Cubs. Thank you for the recommendation. And we could do this all day. We could just add to rosters all day. Next question I have. This is the last question that I had prepared before the show. What is the significance of February 1st within the Utopian Baseball Universe? Great question. Last year, and before I go any further, I just want to say February 1st, going forward, starting this year, is going to be Utopian Baseball Universe Mental Health Awareness Day. And I'll tell you why. In November 2020, I had a little bit of a breakdown, if you will. I have a history of mental health struggles. I am diagnosed as severe anxiety disorder and severe depressive disorder, and I've been working hard daily to remedy that. And in November of 2020, I basically unplugged from social media for about 3 months to figure it out, to try to get better. And on February 1st of 2021, I rejoined Facebook. There were 3 or 4 baseball groups that I belonged to, and I posted why I had been gone. And I said, I'm sorry that I left. I've been trying to get better with some mental health, and thank you for having me back. And let me tell you about some of what I've been dealing with. And the response to those posts was overwhelming in a positive way. And I mentioned his name a lot. Rick Lenneberg was one of the first people that actually reached out to me personally and said, I love that you had the courage to do this. And Rick invited somewhere in the neighborhood of 300 people into the Utopian Baseball Universe. And within days, we went from 80 members to almost 200. Within another week, we were up to 400 members. And by opening day of last year, we had just shy of 800 members of the Utopian Baseball Universe. And right now we're approaching 1,200. So on February 1st this year, it's a Tuesday, we're going to celebrate mental health. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go live in the afternoon, and I'm going to share some tips on how I got back on track, some of the things I do on a daily basis, some of the things I do every week. And I want to hear what works for you. Okay. So it could be journaling, listening to music, whatever works for you. I want you to share that so that we all have the toolbox we need to get through life. I'm happy to say that since November of 20 is when I kind of started to take my life back, and it took me 3 months to know what was working. But I'm happy to say that my mental health is the best it's been since I've been an adult. And I'm going to share on that day all the things that are helping me to deal with it. I still get depressed. I still get anxious, but I now have a better idea of how to manage it. And you guys are a big part of that. Sharing time with you guys on a daily basis, talking baseball, getting ready for the Utopian Baseball Universe, really motivates me. So thank you. I love you guys. And we're going to celebrate that every year. February 1st every year is going to be Mental Health Awareness Day within the Utopian Baseball Universe. It's also going to be, when I was a kid growing up, Jerry Lewis had the MDA Telethon, where they try to raise money once a year for muscular dystrophy. February 1st is going to be our big member invite day every year, because that's when we grew it last year. It's going to be probably the only time that I ask you guys to invite new members in. Because what happens is during the season when members join, I just ask the new members, hey, if there's anyone else you know, bring them in, because we want to grow this to be the best baseball group on Facebook, or one of the better ones, one of the more engaging ones. But on that day, I'm hoping to see a nice new influx of members. We're just shy of 1,200 right now. I recently but I chose to deactivate some members that were clearly had deactivated Facebook. I'm not talking about Facebook jail where you disappear for a week or a month, but these were names that I hadn't seen or were showing up in a report for about 6 months and hadn't contributed to anything. They're clearly just not on Facebook anymore. So I deleted about 15 or 20 people. And now I get a report daily that says who's, deactive. And if it's a name I recognize, I'm not going to delete you because I know how Facebook is. But if it's a name I don't recognize and it stays on that report for 6 months, then I'm going to get rid of that. Thankfully, in 2 years, I've only had to block 7 members, and all 7 were due to either bullying or hate speech. And all 7 of those came into the group when we were a public group. We actually started as a private group in 2020. I changed it to public to try to grow it. And then what I didn't realize is that when you do that, you don't have to be invited or asked to be in. Anyone could just come in. And we were seeing a lot of spam, and we were seeing a lot of hate. So I changed it back to a private setting so that we have control. I get requests daily to join the universe, and you're asked, I think, 3 questions, all baseball related. If you don't answer the questions, I can't have you come in because it's a baseball group. If you're not capable of telling me who your favorite team is or your favorite player is or when you started being a fan, you're not a baseball fan, and you're not here to share in that baseball conversation. And it's so easy. I mean, I've been on Facebook now 13 years. It's easy to determine what's a real profile and what's not. So I invite people that I meet just in life. A neighbor that I talk to on almost a daily basis just joined the group. Kathy, welcome. If I work with you, or if I just think you're awesome, if I play Words with Friends with you, and we talk on a daily basis, I'm gonna invite you in. There's a good chance you're a baseball fan. So yeah, that February 1st every year we're gonna celebrate that and hopefully make a difference in people's lives on those days. All right, so it's 1:42. I'm gonna go live. I'm gonna keep going for another probably 15-20 minutes or so. I don't have any other given questions, so we're just gonna, I guess, talk about the universe in general right now. Opening day is Friday, March 25th, and let's look at the series that are kicking off this year. And again, if you are new, the way we build the schedule, it's a 156 game schedule. It's a 156 game schedule. You play your teams in your division 12 times a year. You play every other team 3 times a year. So it ends up being, what's the math there? 84 division games, 72 non-division games. So you play every team at least once. If you play a non-division team, you rotate where those games are played. So this year the Red Sox are at Colorado. Last year Colorado played at Fenway. On opening day this year, the East is at the West and the North is at the South. So we're going to kick off this year with Red Sox at Rockies, Phillies at Diamondbacks, Blue Jays at Padres, Expos at Mariners, Mets at Angels, Yankees at Dodgers, Nationals at Giants, Orioles at A's. Those are our East at West games. And then our North at South games, we've got Reds at Rays, Reds at Marlins, Guardians at Rays, Tigers at Cardinals, Pirates at Royals, White Sox at Braves, Cubs at Durham Bulls, Twins at Rangers, and the Brewers at the Astros. I can already tell you right now, some of the teams have announced their opening day starters. So let's look at some of the opening day matchups you're going to see. Phillies and Diamondbacks. This is going to be a great one. Steve Carlton versus Randy Johnson on opening day. Montreal and Seattle, they both signed Hall of Famers to start on opening day. It's going to be Rube Waddell versus Rube Marquardt in Seattle on opening day. Can you get any bigger than Tom Seaver versus Nolan Ryan in that Mets-Angels game? How about this one? Steven Strasburg versus Christy Mathewson on opening day. We're also going to have Bob Feller versus Hilton Smith. And then the next day, we're getting Satchel Paige versus Cy Young as the newest member of the Tampa Bay Rays. Those are some of the matchups that are already determined for opening day. It's going to be, again, I look so much forward to this. 62 days away. It's going to be a blast. Got a couple more comments here. What game or games are you most excited about this coming season? Well, the great thing is that we get to see every matchup every year. And it just, I guess it depends on when the pitchers are scheduled to pitch on whether we get some of these dream matchups. But, I mean, for example, let's just look at this opening day schedule. Tigers and Cardinals. I mean, we're going to have Stan Musial face Miguel Cabrera. That's unbelievable. If you look at, the argument, well, who was better, Henry Aaron or Babe Ruth? They play each other every year. So we get to find that out every year. I don't have that in front of me right now, but we're going to have Babe Ruth versus Henry Aaron every single year. We're going to have Mike Trout versus Mickey Mantle every single year. And then if you look at some of the division stuff, like every year we're going to have 12 Mets-Yankees games. You only get, I think 3 now. Every year we're going to get the Expos and the Blue Jays do battle. So I could talk about, this is a great question. I could talk about this for hours and hours and hours. Ichiro is going to face Pete Rose once a year for 3 games. There's so much. And then the way the pitching matchups are lined up, there's a good chance you're going to see Sandy Koufax face Bob Gibson. You're going to see Christy Mathewson could face Teddy Higuera. You could see Satchel Paige face Greg Maddux. So, I mean, just it's endless. It really is. And what I'm going to look forward to is during the season, Mondays and Fridays, when I highlight these series, looking at those storylines and looking at those matchups and trying to put all of them within the spotlight. We have some more spam, so I'm not even going to put it on the camera. But great question. Love it. Spring training, let's talk about that real quick. I use a spring training schedule, 16 games, to just kind of sharpen my own tools, kind of get ready for the season. That's going to kick off on February 28th. We're going to have games on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. We're going to take Mondays off. And I believe, all right, I don't have a calendar. Let's see, the 28th. Monday, Tuesday. Oh, I think that's a Monday, actually. 28th is a Monday, so we're gonna take Thursdays off. Let's see. Well, I don't know. I think I may have messed up this map. The 28th is a Monday, right? Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, off Thursday. 6 games off Thursday. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Yes. Okay. So I figured it out. We're going to start on a Monday, February 28th. We're going to play 3 days. We're going to take Thursday off, play 6, Thursday off, play 5, Thursday off, and then finish with the natural rivals facing each other. 16 games. I split the teams into Arizona and Florida camps, just like Major League Baseball does, but it's not the exact same as what Major League Baseball does, because we're not trying to mirror that in any way. I've got all the West teams in Arizona, all the East teams in Florida, and then I split up the South and North. So in the Arizona camps, I've got Colorado, San Diego, Houston, Arizona, Seattle, Milwaukee, San Francisco, the Cubs, the A's, Angels, Twins, Cardinals, Royals, Rangers, White Sox, and Dodgers are all in Arizona. And then in Florida, I've got the Expos, Red Sox, Tigers, Nationals, Blue Jays, Yankees, Marlins, Bulls, Phillies, Rays, Braves, Reds, Mets, Orioles, Pirates, and Red Sox. Every team plays every other team once. So you basically play 16 games because you're going to play actually your natural rival twice. So Arizona plays Arizona, Florida plays Florida, just like it is right now. So that's going to start Monday. Thank you. Monday, February 28th. It's going to run through Friday, March 18th. And then our regular season kicks off on Friday, March 25th. And again, it's going to be my favorite day of the year for as long as I'm alive. The Utopian Baseball Universe Season 3 kicking off Friday, March 25th. All right. Let's talk about baseball cards because I made about a dozen of them tonight or last night. I've made 4 for new members. Misty Ryan, welcome. You've got a baseball card now. I want to make a card for... So actually, Robert Klein, I don't know if you how active you are within the group right now. You joined. We've known each other for a couple years. We played on Words with Friends. Your mom actually reached out to me a couple days ago and said, you play Words with Friends with my son. And I said, oh, Robert? And she said, yeah. So that's amazing. I both of you kicked my butt in that game. But trying to get Linda into the group because it looks like she's a baseball fan as well. So I'm going to be working on some baseball cards today. However, when the show goes off the air in about 10 minutes or so, I got to get some wings because it's the day of NFL playoffs. So I got a pizza ready, wings, but no Pepsi. It's been 53 days since I've had a Pepsi. All right. So I guess that's all I have as far as content and questions that I had prior to going live. I'll stay on the air for another 10 minutes. If anyone has any other questions or comments or if you want to add someone to your roster, now's the time to do that. We've added Reed Johnson to the Cubs. We got someone that says go Titans and Rams. So Tennessee, I've got family in Tennessee. I've been a Titans fan for a long time. Obviously, my favorite team is the Browns. My second favorite team is the Packers because I grew up here. But I would probably say Tennessee is probably my third favorite. I really do like so in 1996, 97, and 98, when there weren't any Cleveland Browns, I was a Kansas City Chiefs fan because of Marty Schottenheimer. He's my favorite all-time coach. So I do enjoy the Chiefs. When they won the Super Bowl, I was happy to see that. I love Josh Allen. Josh Allen won me, I don't know if you can even see it right now, but there it is, Fantasy Football Championship. So I love Josh Allen. Politics aside, I'm not a fan of how Aaron Rodgers has carried himself in the last year or so. So as much as I want to see the Packers win a Super Bowl, I'm not going to be heartbroken to see him lose. He's not coming back next year, is my opinion. And it's just going to be awkward if the Packers win the Super Bowl and Rodgers leaves and Devontae Adams leaves and we have this like mass exodus. It's going to be weird. So again, I'm not rooting against the Packers, but I'm not going to be heartbroken. I would love to see one of those AFC teams, Buffalo, Tennessee, or Cincinnati, win it all. Because they've never done it before. Buffalo's 0-4 in Super Bowls. Tennessee, I believe, is 0-2 or 0-1. I don't know. Were they in one recently, or was it an AFC Championship game? I know the Rams beat them in Super Bowl 34. I'm not a Rams fan, but I'd be happy for you if the Rams do well. I think it's a great story, though. Matthew Stafford is the quarterback for the 2 most prolific seasons ever by a wide receiver, with Calvin Johnson in Detroit and Cooper Kupp in Los Angeles. So it's a great story. I don't hate Tom Brady. I'm just not a fan. I'm a little bit tired of his excellence. I mean, I commend it. Respect. But I want to see some new teams. I want to see the Browns win a Super Bowl before I die. I've been a Browns fan since 1982. and it's hard. It's hard being a Mets fan. It's hard being a Browns fan. We're very loyal people, though. You should gravitate towards us because we stick around. Browns haven't even been to a Super Bowl, but they were the most dominant team in the NFL in the 50s, and I have a banner that says so. And I think it's time I hang that up at some point. So I love this is my favorite weekend of the year for football. I love the divisional round. I've got 3 pizzas to choose from. One is a Gino's East Tavern style. One is a new brand I found. I think it's called, I don't know what it's called, something House. Found it at Woodman's. And then another brand that I tried recently with an artesian buttery crust. So I think we're going to go with the Gino's East today. And then Sendik's down the road has some amazing wings. I'm a Cowboys fan, so just picking those 2 because of Stafford, and I don't think Titans get the respect they deserve. I would be okay with the Bills also. So let me ask you a question. If Derrick Henry's playing, I think Tennessee can win the Super Bowl. If he's not, I think they're going to fall a little bit short. I think right now, and again, I'm not a football expert by any means. I'm just observant. I think Buffalo has the best team talent. I just think Buffalo is really good. Kansas City's done it, so they can do it again. Brady's obviously very capable. People forget Aaron Rodgers is 0-3 against San Francisco in the playoffs. The Packers have lost 4 or 5 home games in the playoffs. I think 2 of them as a 1 seed. So tonight's game is not a lock by any means. I think the Niners have a chance. If the Buccaneers come here again, they won it at Lambeau last year in the NFC Championship game as a wild card. I think they can win. I think the Rams have enough talent to win. There's not a team left that can't win at all. I mean, Joe Burrow is just the face of the league right now. It seems like he's just been doing some great things. It's a really compelling weekend. I'm looking forward to all 4 games. Sometimes there's one game that sticks out as like not as interesting, but I'm looking forward to all 4. I think it's going to be a fun weekend. Jimmy G isn't as good enough to take it all. I mean, if you're ranking the quarterbacks left, I guess he would be 7th or 8th. But look at what they did, last week. They can. I think any team can get hot for 2 or 3 games. I don't think like a lot of quarterbacks. I don't think the Niners have to necessarily rely on Jimmy G to win 3 games. I think if they can ask him to just not lose them, I think they have a chance. Now, again, I think the Bills are the most talented. I think Kansas City has the potential every week to put up, 50. We know what Rodgers can do. We know what Brady can do. It's going to be fun. And again, I'm not an expert at all. There were 6 games last week. I picked 4 of them. My picks this week for who I think is going to win is Green Bay, Tampa Bay, Buffalo, and I forgot who I picked. I think Cincinnati. I think Cincinnati's going to win. I think I'm going to root for Tennessee. I'm going to root for the Packers, root for the Bills, and root for the Rams. But I think it's going to be Cincinnati and Buffalo, and I think it's going to be a rematch of last year, Tampa Bay versus Green Bay. Unfortunately, he didn't win the game. The Cowboys lost with over 100 yards and penalties. Yeah, I mean, it was a sloppy game. Yeah, I don't know. But again, how many times in the last 20 years have the Packers been heavy favorites at home? I think the Giants have beat the Packers twice at Lambeau in the playoffs. The Niners have beaten the Packers twice, actually 3 times. The Niners are 3-0 against Aaron Rodgers in the playoffs, and I would probably guess the Packers were favored in at least 2 of those games. So it's kind of an any given Sunday thing. I think the Packers should win tonight, but it's going to be on turning the ball over, running the football. Like I said, the only game that would shock me this way, I think I'd be shocked if the Rams won, but I would not be shocked at any other result. I think the Bengals can win in Tennessee. I think the Niners can win tonight, and I think the Bills have a really good chance to beat the Reds this weekend, or the Chiefs. All right, guys. Really fun hanging out with you guys for this last hour. It is 2:00. If you guys have any other questions, feel free to post them. I can answer them later. I'll type back some answers later, but gotta go get ready for the rest of the day. Again, thanks for watching. Hope I answered your questions. If you love what we're doing, feel free to bring in some people. It's really easy to invite people. There's an invite button right in the top of the group. One last comment here. It says, I know I sound bitter. Cowboys, Cubs, Notre Dame. I like getting my heart broken. Hey, I'm right there with you, buddy. Mets and Browns, not exactly fun over the last, 35 years or so. Again, thanks for watching, guys, and have a great weekend. Next time I see you will be Tuesday, having a catch with Peter Golenbach. Take care.